Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. I'm your host Phil, and today's video we're going to check out Bogren Digital's latest plugin release, which I'm really excited about. This is the MLC S093, the Silenoz signature plugin. Let's roll the intro clip and then listen to a full demo mix and then check out the plugin. Thank you everybody for watching today's video. Highly appreciate it. Yeah, if you are interested in amp sims or in general music production software and you are a metalhead, then you already have come across the name Bogren Digital, most likely. It's Jens Bogren's company. I think it's kind of backed up by the Fascination Street Studios in general. Not sure if Jens Bogren is the only person in that particular studio, but all of the plugins always have that name all over it. Yeah, and they have really kicked major butts in the last years when it comes to amp sims, drum packs, stuff like that, music production stuff like impulse responses. They're one of the hottest and greatest amp sim developers currently in the market. So Bogren Digital really worked up their ways in the recent years, and they have recently released a plugin in collaboration with Silenoz and MLC, which is the S093. The S093 is basically Silenoz's signature plugin, Silenoz being the guitar player of the extreme metal legends Dimmu Borgirs. I, for one, have to say I'm really excited for checking out this plugin because Dimmu Borgirs is actually not really my type of metal, you know? I mean, growing up as a teenager in the 2000s, there was no way around Dimmu Borgirs with stuff like Death Cult Armageddon and Insorte Diaboli. A lot of my friends were like really raving about it, but I really did not gel with that too much. But that also means that with this plugin, I might be kind of expanding my horizon a little bit. So I'm really curious if I can get the plugin to sound good for what I do, and also, you know, cross-venture a little bit into some other tones, or, you know, extending my tonal palette, basically. Being able to check out this plugin brings me to the next portion of the video, which is the disclaimer. I have been provided the license for this plugin for free by Bogren Digital. However, this happened on me approaching them after checking out the trial and liking what I heard so far. And Jacek from Bogren Digital was kind enough to do so, sent me the license code. Thank you so much for that. They also provided me with Bass Knob because I offered them that it would be a cool idea if the full mix of this video only has Bogren Digital plugins in itself. So what you're hearing on bass is Bass Knob, their amp knob for the bass, which has an Ampeg SVT, I think it is, which sounds really good. And the drums is the Crim drum library, which I used already in other videos. I made a dedicated video on that one, and that is my go-to drum kit when doing any kind of music production stuff going on over here when I'm not recording real drums. So yeah, just full disclaimer that you have full transparency. With that all out of the way, let's get into the next scene and then check out the plugin. All right, changing the scene in OBS, we can see the Silenoz plugin. I'm just going to call it Silenoz plugin. I know it's technically the Bogren Digital MLC S093, but I'm just going to call it the Silenoz plugin. Sorry, guys. Yeah. We can see it in all of its glory. We can immediately see this is a metal amp with all of the spikes going on. Really looks cool, has a cool, nice individual look to it. Yeah, let's just go through the user interface for those who are not familiar with the concept behind most of the amp sims which you get on the market. We got different blocks going on over here. We got an amp block. We got over here a pedal block, which is set in front of the amplifier, which consists of an octaver, the MLC brown sugar, and the OVD2, which in my opinion looks like a fairly generic tube screamer. Next up, we got the amplifier itself, where you can set up the 3 different channels of the amplifier. I would call them basically kind of clean, crunch, and high gain. What is cool about this, if you change something, let's just change the gate, and you move over to the respective other channels, you can see on the bass knob that it saves the position of that one. So stuff like the gate is then basically going for all of the particular channels. Yeah, but it saves the settings per channel, which is pretty cool. Next up, we got the cabinet section where you can set up the angle of the microphones. You can move the microphone around over here, or actually over here on this nice little grid. You can select different microphones. You got 2 different cabinets, so you could, in theory, take a vintage cab, set that up, mix the speakers to each other, and then there's this IRDX technology field over here, which you can toggle on or off. This brings a little bit more saturation, a little bit more of that compression which you get from real speakers. That's kind of the idea behind it. To me, it's kind of a more advanced saturation algorithm which is going on. Gives a really nice touch to it. I'm not sure if it's actually realistic or more realistic to just shooting proper impulse responses. But that's for other people to decide. And in the end, what sounds good, and the IRDX technology definitely sounds good. Next up, we got a master EQ. So that way you can really shape your tone going out of the plugin. And then we have the post-amp effects, which consist of a delay and a reverb. Furthermore, we got the input and the output. You can pan it left and right over here through this setup. We got a tuner going on over here for all of your tuning needs. Works fairly well, tracks pretty good. Then over here we got an ultra quality or normal quality switch. So depending on the CPU resources which you have, you can set up either a normal quality or an ultra quality. I always go with ultra. We got some presets over here, and then right up over here, we got the main menu where you can see the product, user manual, preferences, audio stuff, and so on and so forth. Yeah, fairly generic setup. Let's go over here to reset to the factory default settings. So that way we got the default settings. One small touch, which shows that Bogren Digital is always trying to improve their product, is that in every window, you got the amplifier still going up over here. You can still add things to the amplifier in respect of setting up your respective block. So for example, if you, for whatever reason, you want to set up the master EQ and you think, okay, now setting up the master EQ, I would love to have a little bit more treble on the amplifier, you don't have to go back to the amp block. You can instead just adjust the treble over here in this block respectively. I think that's a very nice, clever touch, small thing, but those details matter and differentiate Bogren Digital from other amp sim developers out there. But we're not here to actually just simply look at the plugin. We are here to listen to the plugin. For this, I got my trusty Solar A1.6 guitar over here. Yeah, this has the Evertune bridge and self-wound pickups, which I'm really proud of. Yeah, these are very mid-forward, meaty, chunky, I would say. Yeah, sound great. That goes into the Audient ID44 MK1, and that then in turn goes into the Silenoz plugin. I'm just going to call it the Silenoz plugin. I'm not going to say MLC S093 every time. Sorry, guys. So, the Silenoz plugin, straight out of the box, sounds like so. So really cool, dry sounding amplifier, has a lot of that, I would say, modern Marshall or modded Marshall clank to it, especially with the brown sugar. which is a really cool pedal. We're going to explore that a little bit more in a bit, but for now, let's turn that off so that we only got the amplifier going on. And it has that, that's what I mean with the modded Marshall clank. You know, that where the pick attack is very strong, pronunciated or emphasized through the amplifier. That's what I really like. I really like that kind of tone. Let's check out what the amplifier actually offers. So we got a 3-band EQ, we got a gate, presence, depth. We can set between different power amp tubes, which change the tonality a little bit on this plugin. We got the volume, the master, which influence a little bit more how the mids are going to be pushed on that one. Let's just try a little bit around. So we're going to turn down the master. It has a little bit influence on the volume, or at least on the perceived volume as well, but not that much. More on how the mids are being pushed forward. That's what I also experience when I just use regular tube amplifiers and I push them a little bit more on the master. Then the mids get a little bit more pronounced, a little bit more honky. That is, sometimes you want to have that on, especially a Marshall circuit. I could imagine that is a cool thing to have because it otherwise thins out a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it where it is at the moment. Gain, obvious thing. But what I really like is that the amplifier in itself can perfectly hold up and give me a good, tight, dry metal sound. What I don't like so much currently in the settings is how the gate is set up. I like to have the gate very much to a lower threshold so that the guitar can breathe a little bit more. And it's not cutting out immediately the guitar signal. So there's that. Yeah, but this already would be a sound which I could easily live with. I mean, this sounds awesome. 3-band EQ, let's just check out how far we could get. I already like the sound as it is. I just want to kind of find out what the scope of the controls are. So all around being somewhere around the center and then moving a little bit back and forth is where I actually would set them up. And then, you know, just according to taste. Treble is quite strong when you push it back, and when you push it up, it's not that super harsh. The mids are very, you know, taking the right frequencies, pushing them out, and then the bass, it does not do that much, to be honest. I think that's where the depth comes in. Same perhaps with the treble. Yeah, but to be honest, something like the standard settings, let's go back to the default settings and then deactivate the brown sugar. That's the sound which I would go for. Maybe a little bit more gain. That sounds amazing. That sounds really, really good. Yeah, let's just try out the different tube models. Now the 6L6s sound to me a little bit more focused. I like them a little bit more in this particular setup. Let's just try the other channels. I assume that channel 2 is kind of the same thing, but just a little bit more low gain. Yeah, the gain structure is a little bit looser, but yeah, makes a little bit more fun to play actually. So I think the other one sounds a little bit better. This one is very fun to play. But it's not that tight as channel 3. And channel 1 then perhaps is kind of a clean sound. Which you can then, of course, use delay and reverb on that as well. What I'm personally missing over here on the clean sounds is a chorus. I love chorus, but however, it's not my signature plugin, so who am I to judge? Yeah, let's go over again to the high gain channel because that's the best sounding one. But man, I really like the second channel as well. That really is a good channel. Yeah, let's still go with the high gain one. Let's dial back the gain substantially. So we're kind of back to factory default settings, kind of. And now let's check out the pedal section. The pedal section consists of 3 different pedals. We got an octaver, we got the MLC Brown Sugar. I'm not sure what that actually is, but it has different clipping modes to it. So I would say some sort of generic distortion or overdrive plugin with different clipping modes. And then we got the OVD2, which looks fairly similar to a Tube Screamer to me. So let's just try out what's going on. The Brown Sugar is activated by default and sounds like so. We already spoken about that clanky distortion type, and yeah, you can now change the clipping diodes. The differences are very subtle, so yeah, let's see if you can actually hear them at all. So the first one is a Schottky, then we got an impulse, whatever that is, maybe a normal silicon diode, then we got a germanium, and then an LED diode. All right, so Schottky and germanium have the most gain. The impulse is very clanky. The LED is somewhere in between. Let's listen to that again. I personally would go with either Schottky or germanium. Those are the ones which I like the most. And I really was curious about this pedal because I liked what I'm hearing. It's an actual real pedal which MLC is selling and manufacturing. So yeah, really cool stuff. Maybe I'll be weak at some point in time. MLC, if you watch this video, then hey, I would like to take one. Okay, let's move over to check out how the Brown Sugar compares against the OVD2 so that we can really hear what the differences are. yeah, the OVD has that classic tube screamer type of boosting the amplifier, thickening it up a little bit, pushing a little bit the mids, clearing up the low end. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a tube screamer type circuit. Let me just try to actually engage the crunch channel or the second channel with less gain, and then let's push really with the overdrive pedals, the amplifiers, into high gain territory. Let's do the same for the OVD. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, over here, the brown sugar with the Schottky diode straight up is the best sound when it comes to really pushing that amplifier forward. I really like what I'm hearing over here. Let's check out the octaver. I could think that that gets some gnarly, nasty, mean tones. All right, okay, let's mix up things a little bit. Okay, that's enough octaver playing around because I genuinely suck at using stuff like that. Absolutely. But yeah, this is a really cool addition. I'm really surprised how good the MLC brown sugar sounds in combination with the amplifier. This is really cool. Let's move over to the next segment. Before we go over to the cabinet segment, yeah, let's utilize what I was raving about earlier with the amplifier being over here. So, as I said before, I want to now just do something on the preamp pedal, and I immediately want to change something on the amplifier. Let's say I think that the preamp is taking too much of the gain portion over, and I want to change that. Then I just go over here. So you could see how easily I can interchange between preamp pedal and amplifier, and that makes for a hugely, widely more intuitive feel of using the amplifier. That's like really twisting the knobs on the actual amplifiers and the pedals and making it super easy. Really like that. Let's move over to the cabinet segment. What I like to do with that usually is I'm going full scale on one of the speakers, and then I'm first trying out my way, trying to find a sound which I like. Once I found a sound which I find pleasing, then I start to complement with other stuff. So I'm just going to play now around using different microphones in this position because I like this position. So it now changed the cabinet, so we're now moving from the modern cabinet to the vintage cabinet. Okay, now we can play a little bit around. So I like the modern cab more. So dynamic 57. And now I'm going to blend that with a little bit of the tube over here. Let's go over here. Let's set this like this. And then move the speaker mix. That sounds really gnarly and cool. Let's check out if the ribbon sounds better than the tube. Nah, I like the tube actually more. It gives a little bit more of that warmth than moving the speaker mix over a little bit more in favor of the Shure SM57. Really good sound. Okay, let's check out the IRDX technology, one of their main selling points when it comes to the cabinet section of their amplifiers. Just going to play and then turn off and also play a little bit around with the knob. So it's a fairly subtle difference. It is there, but it is quite subtle. Nothing, let's say, major to worry about, in my personal opinion. It's nice to have. That's what I would say about it. Okay, let's move on to the Master EQ. And now let me just showcase how extremely you can shape your sound if you want to do so. This is not going to be the sound which I would go for. I'm just making an extreme case over here. So when it comes to EQ, it's super powerful to have that EQ straight in the plugin, straight smack it out, and then you're good to go. Yeah, let's just turn it off because, of course, obviously this is just for demonstration purposes. What I would usually do in such a case is maybe take down a little bit the highs, because I personally like to have it when, you know, the higher frequencies are dampened a little bit. And you can do the same in general for the low frequencies as well. Something like this. That way you're kind of already preparing the sound which you want to go for in the mix without need of an external EQ. But of course, that's absolutely up to you. I'm just going to leave it where it is at the moment. Maybe allow a little bit more of the high frequencies. Okay. Yeah, and last but not least, let's again engage the delay and the reverb for some nice lead tones. And then just play a little bit around with, you know, the stuff which you want to have and the stuff which you don't want to have. I'm not sure if that actually was the right riff for Mother North, but I just want to kind of play a little bit around with that. Yeah, really cool plugin over here. Let's check out some of the presets which we got. Factory presets and artist presets, so we got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, wow, okay. Emperor, Silenoz, Havoc, Euge Valuverta, yeah, that's cool. Let's go with him, because I really like the tone which he's getting. Or Jason Frankhauser, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, Killer Tone, Thrash, KT88, Sugar. Funnily enough, he's also going with the second channel. Fairly similar settings. What I set up, okay, he's going with the germanium. Yeah. Interesting how close in the end the settings are. Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, Isan, let's go for an octave sustain. Nice. Silenoz main rhythm, KT88. Slight reverb on that. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, a lot of really good stuff going on over here. Mendel, Titan Blonde, okay. All right, at this point in time, I'm just noodling around with some presets, so let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up this video. Yeah, I am a fan. I really like this plugin. I can see myself using this more regularly, maybe not as a daily driver because I am rather a 5150 type guy, but whenever I want to have that modded Marshall clankiness, as I call it before, yeah, this will surely be one of the plugins which I grab up and say, hey, this is amazing. I'm going to try this out. Going to play a little bit around. Everything in this plugin is solid. I really like the attention to detail with the fact that you got the amplifier and can set it up from every different block. That is something which I really think they did really well. I really enjoyed the MLC Brown Sugar. Man, I got to see if I can get myself a hardware version of that pedal. Everything else is absolutely rock solid. It sounds great. It is very intuitive to use. This is a very good choice if you are in the market for a single amplifier plugin suite. Yeah, there you have it. You get all kind of the standard tones. You can get a great clean tone. You can get a good crunch tone. You can get a nice high gain tone. A lot of tonal shaping possibilities. What is there not to like? So, yeah, with that out of the way, I'm going to see if I can get my hands on an affiliate link, which I'm going to place down below. I think through the affiliate link, you will actually save 10% or something like that. So that's going to be in the description down below if I can find it. If not, then sorry guys. But if I got it posted there and you want to grab anything from Bogren Digital, please use the affiliate link. Would highly appreciate it. This one is 99 euros. Yeah, with that out of the way, thank you to Bogren Digital for providing the license. Thank you to everyone out there watching this video. I super appreciate it. I got a lot of other reviews coming up on the channel. I'm still a little bit hoarse. You can hear it already in the video. I talked about it on my last video. Got kind of a cold, which is very hard going away. So yeah, with that out of the way, thank you everybody. See you in the next video, and until then, keep it metal.